Friends, I am so excited to invite a member of the community who I am really growing to respect and hope to have for a dear friend for many years to come, John Foley, who is the president of Ireland's Great Hunger Museum. We've been talking about the possibility for many years that the Ireland's Great Hunger Museum might move into 636 Old Post Road, which is a building owned by First Church, when Operation Hope is ready to move out. And this is the first time that he's speaking to the congregation. He's met members of the council before, and we were talking about how this relationship might unfold, but this has been a really long time coming that he's finally here to speak to you all. So John, thank you. Come on up to the pulpit. Thank you for being here to share a word about this project you've undertaken, and I'll be lighting the candle of witness in celebration of this.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Pastor, and thank you all for welcoming me here today. It's a real honor to stand before you, not just as a neighbor and guest, but as somebody who deeply admires the mission of this church. My name is John Foley, and I am here representing Ireland's Great Hunger Museum of Fairfield. We're working to establish a permanent home for what is widely considered to be the most important collection of art related to the Irish famine, or as we call it, An Gorta Mór, the Great Hunger. For many years, this extraordinary collection was held by Quinnipiac University, which built a museum dedicated to exploring the human impact of this tragic period through art. The university assembled more than 170 works by some of the most powerful Irish and international artists, works that tell the story of loss, resilience, hunger, and hope. But during the pandemic, the museum was closed, and Quinnipiac later made the difficult decision not to reopen it. In response, we formed Ireland's Great Hunger Museum of Fairfield, a 501c3 non-profit, to become the new custodians of the collection. Quinnipiac has graciously committed to donating the entire collection to us once we have a new home, and that's why I'm come before you today. We are hoping to move into 636 Old Post Road, the space currently occupied by Operation Hope, and as owners of that property and as our future neighbours, we're here to humbly ask for your support. We don't want to be just tenants, we want to be part of your community. We believe our mission aligns closely with your three pathways. Working for racial justice. The Great Hunger wasn't just a natural disaster, it was a man-made crisis shaped by colonial practices that saw Irish as lesser, unworthy of aid, unworthy of compassion. This museum will tell the story of systemic injustice, and it doesn't stop there. We will use the art to connect the past and the present, drawing powerful parallels to the injustices still faced by so many today. Welcome the stranger. The famine drove millions of Irish people to leave their homeland, often with nothing more than the clothes on their back. They arrived in America as strangers, frequently met with suspicion and discrimination, and yet they endured. They worked and they gave. Their story is not so different from stories of many immigrants and refugees today. By sharing their journey, we invite empathy, understanding, and a deeper commitment to welcoming the stranger among us. Environmental justice. The Great Hunger was also an ecological disaster, worsened by unsustainable farming practices and a lack of stewardship. Through art and storytelling, the museum will examine how environmental mismanagement can lead to human suffering, a lesson that feels urgent today as we face climate challenges throughout the globe. I also speak to you today as an immigrant. I've always loved the idea of America. Long before I set foot in the soil, I felt that it fit me. I was in some way American before I even understood what that meant. It called me here not just to live, but to dream. Many who came before me heard that same call. Some came from ambition, many from desperation. All of them, including those who fled the Great Hunger, contributed to building the country we call home today. That's why this museum matters, because it's not just an Irish story. It's an immigrant story, it's a human story, and it's a profoundly American story. After the service, I'd love to invite you to stay for a short slideshow in the music room, just for a few minutes to see some of the art from the collection and preview our vision for the future museum space at 636 Old Post Road. I'd also like to invite you to a special event on April 5th, the Founders Gala for the museum. That's at the Gaelic American Club in Fairfield, our neighbours here. And it will be an event of music, community and history, where we'll unveil 2 newly acquired paintings from 1845, and we'll be auctioning a piece recently donated by Rowan Gillespie, specifically to raise funds for the museum. Gillespie is one of Ireland's most celebrated sculptors. His generosity and belief in our mission is helping us take the next big step towards making this museum a reality. Also on the 10th of April, we will be exhibiting quite a lot of the collection in Fairfield University at the Walsh Museum, and that will run all through summer through till August. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you today. We look forward to building something beautiful with you and beside you. God bless and thank you.
So beautifully said. Thank you, John. And I just want to reiterate that invitation. We have fellowship hour in the web room following.